been so long. Did you miss me? Fellow Toastmasters, most welcome guests, and especially Jared. This was your icebreaker speech. The purpose of an icebreaker speech is to introduce the new member to the club, to give some information about yourself, and to literally break the ice in terms of getting up at the lectern and giving a prepared speech. As the evaluator, I'm to evaluate what strong points you already have, how well we got to know you, and some other, a few suggestions for a direction which you might be headed. And I thought you did a wonderful job of using an icebreaker speech as a means of giving us information about you. I certainly didn't know very much about the information you provided. The structure of your speech was a chronological narrative. And they talk about having a clear opening, a body, and conclusion, even at this point. And with a narrative structure, it's not so important to use the boilerplate of tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you told them. You began, or the speech as I understood it, began with, "The unexamined life is not worth living," and that's one of my favorite quotes of all time, so I thought that was very effective in getting our attention about that. We learned a lot about you. We had a lot of information from when you were a boy, and through telling about the various activities that you were participating in, and giving us a little bit of insight into what you were thinking, we learned much about you. And it was really, from my standpoint, I really appreciated getting to know about that. I thought that it was particularly effective when you were talking about your early experiences being with the outdoors a lot, and how that impacted your choice to not go into business, but to go into something like geology. Although I was a little puzzled about why you chose the Navy if you were into the outdoors, why not the Army or the Marines? But maybe we'll find out that, because the submarine's about as indoors as you can get. So, a few suggestions. You began with, good afternoon, and Mr. Toastmaster, etc. I would encourage you to just begin with your speech. Just go right into it, and then maybe later do that. Why? Because you want to get our attention right away. And in terms of what you were talking about, I think the overarching theme came down to that question that you asked yourself at the end, which to me was, what is it that makes a man? And I would start with that. Why not ask that question right? What makes a man? And then give your narrative, and then tie it back in. Say, growing up, I had all these ideas about what a man was, but then I found myself facing that question, was that really what a man was? So that's my suggestion. In terms of appearance, you're sartorially very splendid. I appreciate that you used humor, like men wear big rings, and your voice is one of the strongest parts of your speaking. So I very much look forward to many more, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you.